Once upon a time, in a magical forest shimmering with enchantments, there lived a tiny mischievous fairy named Elara. Elara was renowned throughout the forest for her playful pranks, often causing chaos amongst the inhabitants of the magical woods. She had sparkling blue eyes, wings like gossamer petals, and a playful twinkle that hardly ever left her face. One day, as Elara fluttered above a quiet brook, she spotted Dexter, the grumpy old turtle, slowly making his way along the forest floor. A mischievous idea bloomed in her mind, and with a cheeky grin, she swooped down and whispered a spell, turning Dexter's shell slick and slippery. The poor old turtle slid all over, unable to control his direction. Despite his disorientation, Dexter's soft-hearted nature shone through as he sighed, "Oh, Elara, you and your pranks." On another occasion, Elara spied Mabel, the cautious rabbit, nibbling on a patch of clover. With a wink and a swirl, Elara enchanted the clover patch to rustle and shake. Mabel hopped away in fright, her heart pounding, only to hear Elara's infectious giggle echoing from the treetops. Yet Elara's pranks were not always taken lightly. One afternoon, Elara saw Henry, the owl, snoozing on a high branch. Unable to resist, she cast a spell, and Henry's branch began to sway violently. Startled awake, Henry fluttered about in confusion, barely able to keep his balance. Seeing Elara laughing, he glared at her and said in a stern voice, "Elara, your jokes have their place, but they're often at the expense of others." Elara didn't understand why Henry was upset. To her, these were just playful pranks, meant to inject fun into the otherwise mundane life of the forest creatures. But her pranks didn't make everyone laugh. And as the days passed, Elara noticed her forest friends beginning to avoid her, their smiles fading whenever they saw her approach. One evening, as Elara sat alone by the crystal pond, Luna, the wise old unicorn, approached her. "Elara," Luna began, her voice calm and gentle, "do you know why your friends have been avoiding you?" Elara looked at Luna, her eyes welling up. "Is it because of my pranks?" she asked. Luna nodded. "Your heart is joyful, Elara, but not everyone finds joy in the same way. To understand, you must learn to feel what they feel." Elara thought about Luna's words. She realized that she hadn't considered the feelings of her friends when playing her pranks. She decided then and there to make amends. The next day, Elara visited Dexter by the brook. Instead of a prank, she whispered a spell that made the most beautiful lily pads bloom in his path. Dexter smiled, touched by the gesture. Later, she found Mabel in the clover field and cast a spell to make the juiciest carrots sprout from the earth. Mabel's eyes sparkled with delight, and she thanked Elara for the thoughtful surprise. Finally, Elara approached Henry, who was about to doze off on his branch. She whispered a spell that created a gentle, soothing breeze around the old owl. Henry looked at Elara, pleasantly surprised. He nodded in appreciation, a soft hoot escaping his beak. In the days that followed, Elara replaced her pranks with gestures of kindness. She started to understand the joy of making others happy without causing them discomfort. The creatures of the forest slowly began to trust her again, their smiles returning when they saw her coming. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of purple and gold, Elara found herself surrounded by her friends at the crystal pond. They had gathered to thank her for her kindness and to celebrate the new Elara, who had not just brought laughter back into their lives, but also respect and empathy. Elara felt a warmth spread in her heart, different from the thrill she used to feel from her pranks. She realized this joy was deeper, born from kindness and understanding. From then on, Elara was no longer known as the Mischievous Fairy, but the Fairy of Kindness. She still loved fun and laughter, but she ensured that her actions never caused harm or discomfort to her friends. And in doing so, she discovered that kindness, empathy, and respect were the real magic, spreading love and happiness in the magical forest. The tale of Elara teaches us all a valuable lesson. True joy comes not from laughter at the expense of others, but from understanding, kindness, and empathy. And so, the story ends as it began, in the magical forest shimmering with enchantments, where Elara, the fairy of kindness, continues to spread joy amongst all the creatures of the forest. Good night, dear ones, and remember, kindness is the most powerful magic of all.